go there for you, so you know.
La 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 la. The greatest tournament in club football is back. Champions League is back this weekend. And we've got some sumptuous, exciting games to look ahead to. I'm here on Bulldozer TV to break each game down. Let's get straight into it. We start with Galatasaray against Liverpool. We know Galatasaray beat Liverpool in the group stages of the tournament. But at the business end, which is the knockout phase, I don't think Galatasaray will have enough to beat Liverpool and to qualify to the quarterfinals. We saw them against Juventus when even Juventus were 10-man down. Juventus nearly pulled their remontada. It's going to be a very tricky game in the first leg in Istanbul, but I do think Liverpool will have enough to pull the win in Istanbul. I think Galatasaray best will be a draw in Istanbul. If you're a betting man, I think you have to go to Liverpool win or draw. I don't see any way Galatasaray can beat Liverpool, even in Istanbul. Atalanta, Bayern Munich, and Atlanta have had a resurgence since they sacked Ivan Juric, and then with their new coach, they beat Dortmund in a very good style, a last-minute penalty after they were 2-goal down in the first leg. They came back to win the game. It's also a tricky game, but I think Bayern Munich firing all cylinders will have too much for Atalanta, and I think Bayern Munich is going to qualify to the quarterfinals. There is no doubt about it. And I think they are still going to win in Atalanta. Bayern Munich to win home and away. ATL against Tottenham Hotspur. And this is the thing. La Liga's reputation is on ATL. Because Tottenham are in shambles in the Premier League. They are fighting relegation battles. If La Liga and ATL make Tottenham beat them, and for Tottenham to qualify to the quarterfinals, that would be a major disgrace on the reputation of La Liga. There is no way a team fighting relegation should beat a team in the top 3 in Spain. No way. It shouldn't even be possible. So if ATL allows Tottenham Hotspur to beat them, that is going to be a travesty. I think Atletico Madrid will win in the first leg, but with the second leg, I think Tottenham is going to win. So tomorrow, I think Atletico Madrid is going to win. But I don't know who is going to qualify, because the thing about the Premier League is that it's so physical and draining that when the teams in the Premier League get to Europe, it becomes much more easier for them, because the European teams open up and they are less physical. So it is more enjoyable for the Premier League teams to play against the European teams. This is a tricky game to call, but I think Atletico Madrid has to qualify. I cannot say who is going to qualify between these two teams, but I think Atletico Madrid has to qualify in order to save the reputation of La Liga. But tomorrow, which is the first leg in Madrid, I think Atletico Madrid is going to win, maybe by 2-1 or a 1-0 victory. You're looking at the whole injury list of Tottenham. Atletico Madrid should have enough to beat Tottenham. Unless it's going to be a travesty. Newcastle versus Barcelona, which I believe Barcelona is going to come up on top. They are going to qualify to the quarterfinals, and I believe Barcelona is going to win both games home and away, because Newcastle, they've not really been doing well this season. Although they are in the round of 16 of the Champions League. When you look at the Premier League table, they are not doing well. They couldn't buy a win until they beat Manchester United with 10 men, and still lost in the weekend against Manchester City. So I think Barcelona should have a lot. You have Lamine Yamal of the world, the Pedris of the world. You have Lewandowski and all this, Rafinha. You should have enough to beat Newcastle. I think the only Premier League team that I will not qualify to the round of 16, to the quarterfinals, in my opinion, is Newcastle, because Barcelona will have too much. With Tottenham Hotspur, I think they could cause a surprise because Atletico Madrid actually is not even that good. So Tottenham Hotspur could cause a surprise. But the Premier League team that I am 100% they wouldn't qualify to the next round is Newcastle United. We go Leverkusen Arsenal. This is a routine game. Arsenal should have to match for Leverkusen, both home and away. I believe Arsenal is going to win and then qualify straight to the quarterfinals. Bodo Glimt against Sporting Lisbon. This is a game that will be interesting for the neutrals because looking at the story of Bodo Glimt, their season have not even started and they were able to kick out Inter Milan and now they are facing Sporting Lisbon. I think Bodo Glimt is going to beat Sporting Lisbon. Well, on Wednesday, they are going to beat Sporting Lisbon in Norway, and I think outrightly they are going to qualify. That is how good Bodo Glimt is. They play very good football. Their players are really, really technical, and I think they are going to meet Arsenal in the quarterfinals, and that will be a juicy game to look ahead to. And the two biggest games in the round of 16, the games of the round of 16 is Manchester City against Real Madrid and then PSG against Chelsea. You know, it's been boring watching Manchester City against Real Madrid. Season after season after season, it's starting to be boring. And we all knew once the draw was going to be made that Man City is going to face Real Madrid again. And lo and behold, we've gotten the same matchup. And I believe Man City have too much of a weapons for Real Madrid. Although Man City's defense is terrible, so is Real Madrid defense. Real Madrid midfield, they do not have a controller, somebody to control the game when the game is not in balance. Somebody to balance the game, somebody to slow the game down or up the tempo when it's needed. I think Man City is going to beat Real Madrid both home and away. That is how terrible Real Madrid is. You could see against Benfica, even in the second leg at the Bernabeu, Benfica should have won the game just because they didn't win because they didn't have quality players. If they had quality players, they should have won both legs. But it is what it is. Real Madrid qualify, and I don't trust Arbeloa to do a good job. They are going to get beaten. So it is a straightforward victory for Man City. That is why currently the hope of La Liga lies in Barcelona and let's say Atletico Madrid. Because if Atletico Madrid makes Tottenham Hotspur beat them, like I said, it is a travesty. And the biggest game of the round of 16 is PSG against Chelsea. This is a game that the world will be watching. It's going to be juicy. It's going to be bad blood due to the Club World Cup where PSG, the previous Champions League, PSG beat all the English sides and then they met Chelsea in the Club World Cup where they thought they could have swept all the trophies available during that season. But then Chelsea had different ideas, and what did Chelsea do? They beat them 3-0 without an answer. So PSG want to take a revenge and they want to have this rhetoric where they tell everybody, yeah, it is the Club World Cup. It is a preseason trophy. Nobody cares. We were fatigued, and that is why Chelsea beat us. And Chelsea also want to prove the point that we are really the Club World Cup champions. We are really the best club in the world. This is going to be a juicy game, and I cannot wait to watch PSG versus Chelsea. And let's not get ahead of ourselves. PSG is not really in good form. Let's be true to ourselves. It's not really in good form. Chelsea has also had their ups and downs, but PSG of last season is not even PSG of this season. Their knockout phase against Monaco, if Monaco hadn't had a red card in both legs, that would have been a dicey affair. Even with a red card, Monaco really caused PSG a lot of troubles. PSG are still scoring goals, but they are not scoring like last season. Also, their defense is in shambles. They do not have a good goalkeeper. They let Donnarumma go. Chevalier has not been doing well, so now he's being benched for Soforanov, which he's not a world-class goalkeeper. Chelsea also have their defensive lapses, but I do believe the midfield of Reece James, of Fernandes of the world, and the Caicedos of the world will be able to overrun PSG midfield that is plagued with injuries because they do not have Joao Neves and Fabian Ruiz. So it's going to be Emre Zare and I don't know, maybe Lee Cain or whoever plays over there. So it's going to be a fascinating game, but I do believe Chelsea will get a draw at the Parc des Princes, and then they are going to beat PSG in the second leg at Stamford Bridge. And I think Chelsea is going to qualify to the quarterfinals to face Liverpool. This is my Champions League breakdown on Bulldozer TV. As you know, if you do like the predictions, just hit the like button, subscribe to Bulldozer TV for more updates and more post-match analysis. Until then, cheers.